Hi Linwood, this is another message from your 5th grade class. Today we want to talk about a very important day, Veterans Day. Everyone knows that we celebrate Veterans Day, but do people really know why we celebrate it or what it really means? Let's take a trip down memory lane to really examine why we celebrate such an important day.
The United States has been officially celebrating Veterans Day since 1919, but it wasn't always called Veterans Day. We use Veterans Day as a way to celebrate anyone who has served or is still serving our country's armed forces.
Veterans Day was originally called Armistice Day. The first Armistice Day was declared by President Woodrow Wilson to celebrate the one-year anniversary of the end of World War I. Armistice is a fancy word used to describe a peaceful agreement between enemies, like calling a truce.
In 1954, President Dwight D. Eisenhower officially changed the name of the holiday to Veterans Day to honor all the men and women who serve or continue to serve.
In 1926, Congress passed a law making Veterans Day an official holiday.
There are approximately 24 million veterans living today. On Veterans Day, there are a number of parades held across the United States, as well as many speeches given.
Fun fact. Did you know that there is not supposed to be an apostrophe in Veterans Day, but still, some spell it Veterans Day or Veterans Day?
A veteran is any person, man or woman, who has served and protected the U.S. during times of war and during times of peace. The armed forces are made of the 5 branches: Air Force, Army, Coast Guard, Marine Corps, and Navy.
There are many different ways to celebrate Veterans Day. Aside from parades and speeches, you can celebrate Veterans Day by doing something special for the veterans, you know?
Another way we celebrate as a country is at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Every year on Veterans Day at exactly 11 a.m., a wreath-laying ceremony is held at the Tomb of the Unknowns in the Arlington National Cemetery. The tomb is so special it is guarded by soldiers at all times.
Once the guards are selected, they walk the mat in front of the tomb at anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on the time of year and the time of day. They work in 24-hour shifts, and when they aren't walking, they are living in quarters beneath it. This gives the sentinels time to complete training and prepare their uniforms, which can take up to 8 hours. The honor to become a tomb guard is incredibly rare.
Becoming a tomb soldier is so important that it is one of the most difficult jobs to get. Guards must go through intense training, and although all military members need to keep their uniforms neat, it is said that the tomb soldiers have the highest standards of all. Soldiers also have to pass a tomb test where they are tested on their memorization, including punctuation of the 35 pages on the history of the tomb.
Interesting fact, everything the guards do is a series of 21. A guard will stop on their 21st step, turn, face the tomb for 21 seconds, then change the weapon to their outside shoulder, mentally count to 21 again, and walk another 21 steps.
There are so many ways you can help the men and women of our armed services. Wounded Warrior Project is one foundation that is important to me. On my birthday, I made a donation to the Wounded Warrior Project. My donation helped soldier David Guzman, an Army veteran who is severely injured while serving in Iraq, get the medical care he needed. After getting well, he went on to finish his college education thanks to the Wounded Warrior Project Foundation.
Wounded Warrior Project is only one of the many charities and foundations set up to serve the men and women of the armed services and their families. Later today, our 2nd graders will talk about all the ways you can thank a veteran. So be sure to listen in so that you can decide how you want to say thank you.